Okay, so welcome to the 5 levels of creating an irresistible B2B offer. So this can either be for your consultancy, for your agency, for your AI automation agency, maybe your coaching business, anything to do with info and basically service providing online. So in order to sign a client on your offer, there are 5 levels that you must break through in their subconscious and in their conscious, right? So the first one is ambition, right? This is a subconscious level. Driving force of human behavior that will drive the decision maker to make a decision, right? So if you're watching this video, you probably have a little bit of this, right? You probably are ambitious, you want to get a great life, you want to build a great business, you want to build great teams, whatever. And you have this. This is an unconscious drive that's driving everybody in this economic machine. Goal. Now, this is a future situation that you or your client, your prospect wants to be in. Now, this is not really yet with emphasis on yet, because you're going to help them do this. This is going to be your main selling point. And this is a future situation they want to be at. So either they want to have a predictable appointment booking machine, they want to get 10 roofing jobs a month, 50 additional gym members, whatever it might be for your niche. This is going to be their goal, and it's usually going to be within the business, and it will have to do with marketing, or if you're running an AI automation agency, it can be with time. They want to save more time, right? More overhead. And then a problem is an obstacle standing in the way, right? So the goal is their future situation, basically, their business being functional without any constraints. And their problem right now might be appointment booking, it might be scheduling, it might be, some specific information that they need on sales. And this is really the problem. It's the root cause that you're going to help them solve. And then the pain. This is an unpleasant emotional state that they are currently experiencing as a result of their problem. So if you're running an agency, you have a lot of pain in certain areas, right? You might have pain in appointment booking, and it's unpleasant, right? And you would do anything to fix it. And this is really how I sell to my clients. This is the main thing. And then the confidence. Now, this is what I'm going to expand on the most. Confidence is having faith and believe in your ability to fix this. So really, a prospect has ambition, goal, problem, and pain. And the only 2 things that we can really control as a salesperson and as an agency owner or a consultant is confidence and pain. Now, confidence we can control 100%. Pain we can control about 50%. This is really about how well you can sell, right? And the confidence, basically, confidence consists of really 2 things. Let me show you this diagram. So, 3 things. So, the first one is your offer. Now, this is the biggest one. Your offer is going to be what's going to make them, want to buy or not. It's going to be you. These are going to be your sales skills, right? How well you can sell. And the results, which is the smallest thing that matters to people, basically to companies, is going to be results, right? The biggest thing is going to be your offer and you. Now, for your offer, the main thing is going to be a risk reversal. Just to be honest with you, it's 2026 and people do not want to get on retainers, on huge retainers. They want to have some safety net. Either are you going to work for free? Are you going to, work on pay on results, which I already have a video posted on how you can structure these commissions. You're going to work on pay on results. You're going to give them a refund. You're going to, give them money back and then additional bonus or something for wasting their time. You can do anything here. And this is the bolder offer you have, the more clients you'll be able to sign. Now, people are saying, bold offers, it's just an endless race, like a commodity race, but it's not, because if you can deliver on them, they do work. So you need to know your product. You need to know that your product works. If you're not confident in your product, you need to go back to the whiteboard and, create your product in a better way. Now the prospect will be asking themselves, like, where can I get my confidence from, right? And you're going to do that on a sales call. Your main selling point is going to be your offer, and then underneath that you're going to be spiking their pain, right? So if we go back here, and yeah, this is another point. It doesn't matter where your market gets the confidence from. So if it's, if someone who really cares about results, it doesn't matter if they get 100% of their confidence from results. It matters that they do have the confidence. And pain really creates, how I would say, pain really creates an unpleasant emotional state, right? And it's rare that they would, express it straight away on the sales call. So you need to do some implication, right? You need to ask difficult question. You need to ask them, how does that feel? Why is it like that? You need to be asking these questions. Now, action threshold. Action threshold explains the point at which stranger takes an action to become a client, right? So this is an equation you can use now. Of course, it's just a metaphorical equation. It's not actually, you don't want to have your calculator on the sales call calculating this. It just serves as a metaphorical example. And this is how it looks like, right? So you can see the pain percentage, so the amount of pain that they're in, the percentage of the pain that they're in. So if you're in 60% pain, and the amount of confidence that they have in your product, let's say it's also 60%, and then divide this by 2, then you'll get the chance of action, really, right? So that's going to be the chance of the action, right, that they do. It's going to be about 60% in this case, because we have 60%. And then offers consist of these things, right? So you might think offer is a pricing, it's a time frame, an outcome. You might have some idea, but you probably don't know exactly what it is. So it consists of outcome, the promise should align with the goal, and the desired situation of your market, right? So the promise really is I would say, the second most important part after the risk reversal. So the promise is, for example, for ourselves, we have a promise that we'll get our clients 55 ready to close prospects in the next 84 days. That's our promise, and it's pretty strong. And this basically is the second most important part. Time frame, in how long you can do this for. So as I said, in 84 days, right? This is our time frame. The less, the better. Methodology is a tangible, clear methodology, basically a tangible, clear way that you're going to basically get them to their desired state, to their goal. Now, if you're doing Facebook ads, it's going to probably be like, setting up their ad account, running ads for 2 weeks, database reactivation, whatever, right? This is going to be your methodology. And it's what is required to achieve the outcome. And it's basically to explain logically how you're going to get them there. And then unique mechanism. It's your unique way of executing the methodology and making it work. Now, if you're selling AI receptionists or ads, you don't want to say, I'm going to sell you this Facebook ads package for $3,000, right? This is never going to work. It's not 2018. This is not going to work. Unique mechanism, right? For our agency, we basically have the velocity system. That's how we call our mechanism. It's an outbound system, and that's how we position it. So, for your ads agency, you can just come up with something, using AI. And then the risk reversal is a guarantee. It has to look perfect to the client, right? And it has to feel safe for them, right? So our guarantee is basically we work on pale results, and if we don't deliver, we'll keep working for free until we get them there, and we'll go into the red. And it's a very, very strong guarantee. Now the pricing, how much it costs to claim your offer, right? So it depends. Now this is a very flexible thing. It depends on what kind of company you're running. If you're running a consultancy, you can play around with this. If you're running an agency, you're probably gonna want to do pay on results if you're just starting out, or if you're a bit more established, maybe work for free until you get in there. But you can combine this together, right? You can do a setup fee and then pay on results, plus work for free until you get them there. If it doesn't happen, you can just combine a couple of this. And this is really what your offer consists of, right? So I'm going to jump off to my whiteboard, and I'm going to explain a bit more about how we structure our offer and the way you can do it in a practical term. Okay, so let me show you how I would go on to create your offer and position it as strong as possible, okay? So first, what I would do is define industry, aka niche. Okay? So what you want to do is create a demographic, right? So you want to do demographic, basically how old these people are within the space and the niche that you're trying to help. You want to do what their interests are, what they do in their free time, what problems do they have. You want to define all of these details, right? Their current situation, the desired situation. Follow the 5 levels, right? Go on about finding their goals. If you've had any appointments or sales calls in the past, you should already know about some of this. But you really want to do what you really want to do. Let me put it in bold, right? So you want to define your industry and really understand it, right? So if you're new to the game, what you can do, and if you have never had a conversation with somebody in your niche, what you can do is go to your niche, talk to 10 people, just say that you're doing a survey and ask them a couple of questions, right? Ask them about their goals, about their problems, what's their main issue, what's their, profit margins. You can define all of these metrics on the call, on a quick survey call. Just tell them you're working for your, I don't know, uncle who's an author, right, of his book, whatever, okay? So the first thing is define your industry. This is what you need to do. Now, the second thing is after you do this, only after you do this, you want to decide upon the outcome. So if you probably run this agency or consulting business for at least, I would say, a year, you should already have an idea of what you can accomplish for them. And if you don't, or if you're still a bit lost, what you're going to do is ask yourself, what's the big promise that I can help for them? Like, what's the big promise I can fulfill on, okay? I'm fucking stuttering. What's the big promise you can fulfill, right? This is what you want to ask yourself. And if it's too little, or if it wouldn't make sense for somebody to move forward with you, you want to develop your product in a way that it would. Okay? And what I would recommend is just promise shit. You don't have to always deliver on it, right? If you're new, this is what I used to do. I don't do it anymore, right? But it's better to have some clients than to not even, make any money, because you're going to get broke. You're going to be broke if you don't do this, right? So it's better to get experience this way than to not even get experience at all, and to just procrastinate and work on your website. This is not what you want to do. So the outcome, very important. Let me put on some marks. Okay, the next thing is going to be in what time frame can you accomplish this outcome. So does it take a year to accomplish this? Probably too long. It depends on your niche, right? If you help some banks, right, get, I don't know what, it might take over a year. But if you help gyms get more members, or if you help home improvement companies get connected with local leads, it shouldn't take less, let me put it this way, it shouldn't take less than 120 days. It shouldn't take less. My marker is shit, but it shouldn't take more. Fuck me. It shouldn't take more than 120 days. Very important, right? Because if you're promising shit that is going to happen in a year, it's too far away for these people to see. They want to, instant gratification. That's what you want to sell on. The next thing is going to be methodology, right? Methodology. So if you were watching the video, if you're watching the video from the start, I already explained it a bit, but methodology really is your vehicle, right? And you want to also position it as a unique mechanism, right? So you want to do unique, let me just put it this way, let me put it in bold. So you want to have a unique mechanism for ourselves. It's a velocity system, an outbound velocity system. That's how we call it. That's how we get appointments. If you're running an ads agency, you can say this, you don't want to say ads, right? You can say this acquisition accelerator for roofers or something like that, right? And then your methodology really is going to be, positioning yourself on the first page of Google by implementing our Google first bullshit system. That's what you want to do. Position yourself in a very, very professional way. Don't say bullshit mechanism, Google bullshit mechanism, don't do that. But position yourself in a professional way with a good methodology. So that's very important, right? And then the last thing, let me actually do this. The last thing is going to be risk reversal, right? The most important thing. That's why I'm erasing everything, because I'm gonna take some space. So risk reversal. Now, you might have an idea what it is. You might have something in place, but what you want to do is do at least one of these, right? So what you can do is refund. This is one you can do. Another one is commission. and then you can do RAD. I'm going to call it RAD. So this is basically going into the RAD if it doesn't work, right? If you have like a coaching program, you can say, if we don't get you in shape in 100 days, we are going to, this is a bullshit example because it's probably not your niche, but I'm just gonna put this as an example. If we don't get you in shape in 100 days, we're gonna wire you $500, but you have to follow our methodology, and then you're going to have guarantee conditions, right? Guarantee conditions. And these conditions, they should be visible to the prospect, right? You don't want to put it somewhere in hiding in your contract, and then, you know, after you don't get them results, say, hey, my guarantee conditions, you know, I don't have to give you a refund. Just, you know, let them know plainly, right? Because I used to buy a program and they didn't tell me about the guarantee conditions, and I got screwed over, right? And people are gonna just write negative reviews on Trustpilot if you have one. So you have to define guarantee conditions on all of these offers. Probably just on this one, commission basis don't require one, and on the RAD offer. That's how I call it, the RAD offer. And for the commissions, I have a video on how you can structure your commissions, right? But you can do pay-per appointment, a very popular one. You can do pay-per lead. You can do rev share, or you can do per show, right? So if you're, let me put this as an example. If you're working with, let's say, coaches, just like I am, mainly consultancies and agencies, but I also work with coaches. If you work with coaches, you can do rev share, right? So if they have a program for $1,000 lifetime value, you can get the rev share of about 20%, or $200 per every client, because $1,000, it's not a lot. It's not a big lifetime value, so it's going to be about 20%. If you do pay per appointment, and they have the lifetime value of $1,000, you can do about 50%. Per show, you can do about $80. Not 50%, $50, by the way. Sorry. So I'm not fucking sorry. This is my video. So $50 per appointment, $80 per show. Let's say $20 per lead, something like that. I have a detailed video. I'm going to include it in the description on how you can actually structure this, you know, properly. I have some economic equations that you can use. If you're smart, you can use them. Otherwise, you can just follow the structure I outlined in that video. But this right here, this is really what you'd want to do for risk reversal, right? So put something strong together. Where you're going to get a lot of value is if you can mix this together, right? If you can just mix this together, all of it. I have a refund also, and I have a commission in my offer. Basically, I'll work for them for free, and I'll work on commissions. So this is my offer. This is the risk reversal that you want to use. This is basically the SOP. Try this, and have a great day.